Good evening, Kaushalya. Is my screen visible and is my audio audible for everyone? So let me know. So please respond in the chat. So today we are starting one of the most important topics in UAE path. So taking control of controls. So in simple words, I can say this chapter teaches us how a robot uses software screens just like humans do. So when we work on a computer, we look at buttons, type in text boxes, select options, and let us say from drop downs. For example, if I wanted to drop a file from my desktop to website, so that is nothing but drop down. So and read information shown on the screen. For example, in my screen, if you look here, taking control of controls. To read these, we'll be using UiPath. So, but robot can't see like what we do. Okay. So, as human, we can select only the task which we required, but robot can't do all these things. So, we'll be having task recorder as I mentioned in the last class. Okay. It needs a special instructions to understand what is happening on the screen. So this unit is all about teaching the robot how to recognize screen elements and interact with them. Without this knowledge, automation is impossible because most business work happens through applications such as already I mentioned banking, like software and also websites and office tools. For example, in your college, if some faculty want the attendance daily, you need to enter your attendance and daily need to update your some software. Okay, so these can be replaced by UiPath. So think of this unit as teaching a robot how to use a computer, mouse, keyboard, and screen, just like an employee do, just like your faculty do, how he enters manually or attendance, how it updates lively in the dashboard, everything. So in this particular unit, you will be covering by I have been using some UiPath pictures also to understand clearly. So once you understand this, you can automate almost any software. So that is the agenda of this particular unit. So, good evening, everyone. So, let me go into the chapter. So, in the introduction part, so in real companies, employees work on software systems all day, right? So, they log in and they enter data, click buttons, generate reports, and move between screens. So UiPath robot must do exact same thing. So same as a employee do when he enters the software, UiPath robot must do exactly the same thing. So but for that the robot must first understand what each item on the screen is. So for example, if let us say here on the screen I can see introduction. So UiPath should know what is this introduction mean, and UiPath should know how these lines are coming. So everything it should be learned. So for example, when we see login page, we easily understand which box is for username. For example, if you log into any page, you will be able to see username and password. So UiPath, for example, as a human, you can understand, right? But for UiPath, it is we need to teach it. We need to teach by a tool called Task Recorder. Already I mentioned in the last class. So, but a robot sees everything as just visual elements. For example, if you see a username and a password on the screen, a robot sees it as a visual element which is visible on the screen. That's it. It does not know whether it is a username, whether it is a password. It does not recognize it. Okay. UiPath solved this problem by identifying user interface elements, also called UI controls. So UI controls make robot to recognize this is username and this is your password. Okay. These control includes uh, buttons, uh, let us say text fields, and checkboxes, menus, even click links that visible on the screen, and many more. Once the robot identifies this correctly, it can click, type, and read the information like just like humans. Okay, so that is why this chapter focus on how robot identify, understand, and control the screen elements. I can't just directly say, oh, this is the login page, you go and log in. So UI controls will teach robot to identify where is username, where is password, etc., etc., everything. So UI controls are responsible for understanding and making robot to work on that. Okay. Now, so before a robot starts working, it must know which application window it should operate in. For example, I am operating a window called attendance, let us say. So I wanted to work on attendance, but initially as a human, I will have WhatsApp window, Instagram window, or any other window. But UiPath directly can't know whether on which window it should work. We need to indicate, okay, on this particular window you should work, but UiPath does not know directly. It won't go to attendance window. Okay, it may go to WhatsApp window, it may go to Instagram window. That is the main problem with UiPath. So so one on a computer, many applications can be open at the same time, right? Like a browser, just now as I discussed, attendance, WhatsApp, email, Instagram, maybe a company system. Okay, so if the robot is not, if we are not giving correct instructions to robot exactly where to work, it might click in the wrong window and cause errors. Okay, if I wanted to do some job in attendance window, but it goes to Instagram or it goes to WhatsApp, it may create some errors, right? So this is where the attach window activity works. Okay. So attach, it tells the robot to focus only on one specific application window. For example, I need to work on just let us say what do you say attendance window. So attach window says only, array robot, you work on this particular window. You don't go anywhere. Your task is to work on this particular window. Okay. So attach window teaches robot that, okay, you don't deviate from the distractions on the screen. You only work on the attendance window. So all actions inside the container will happen only inside that window. If any action, for example, I wanted to calculate the average, I wanted to calculate less than 50%. So everything will happen inside inside that window. So this will be done by robot. But initially we need to say robot, okay, this is the window you need to operate. That is happen using attached window in this particular UI path. So, for example, I will tell an example here. So imagine telling your worker, please type this data. Okay, just imagine I am instructing you to type, please type this data. I haven't said any platform. I haven't said it, you to type in WhatsApp. I haven't said you to type in Instagram, or I haven't said you to type in email. But I just say, please type this data. So it creates a confusion in your mind, right? So the same thing happens with robot. If many windows opens on the screen, it does not know which window to operate. So that is why we'll be having this attach window. So attach window removes the confusion and increases the accuracy. Attach window says that, okay, array open your WhatsApp and please type this data. So then it will be clear, right? You will be opening your WhatsApp and you will be typing, please type this data. It will be very clear. But whereas when you just say, when I just say randomly, please type this data, it will create a mystery of confusions in your mind, where to type the data, how to type the data, all those things. So same way as a instructor, if I say you type in WhatsApp, same way in UiPath robot, you in robot also UiPath attach window help the robot to do work in which window. That is how attach window helps. So if you look here, this diagram shows how UiPath locks automation inside a particular window. So think of attach window like drawing a boundary around an application. Okay. Uh, Inside this boundary, the robot can click, type, and read the data. Okay. If you look here, so this is my window. In this particular window, a robot can type anything, robot can click anything, and a robot can read anything. Okay, write anything. So outside it, robot will not interfere because this is my window. Okay, I can't go anywhere out of this window. Okay, so this is very useful when multiple applications are open. If the system is having multiple applications at a time, so this attached window says, okay, you will be working on this window and you should work on this window. If I instruct this to robot, it will not go to, or it will not deviate from this window. Okay. So it prevents accidental clicks and improves the stability. So professional automation always uses attached window, attached browser. It is also called as attached browser to make workflows safer and more organized. Okay, that is what this part about this attached window. So now finding controls. So now the robot knows which window to work in. Okay, if I say you only work with attendance window or WhatsApp window. Now robot knows I need to work on WhatsApp. Let us say WhatsApp. So the next step, what the robot to do? What is the next step? Okay, now the next step is finding the exact controls on the screen. Okay, type message, where is that, where I can type that message. Okay, so where is how to access the gallery, which is the control to access the gallery, how to open settings in WhatsApp. Okay, all this we need to, again we need to what do you say, we need to teach the robot. So controls are the parts of this application that users interacts with. So examples include buttons like submit text fields, where we type names, drop downs, and where we select options, and checkboxes we tick. So all these types of clicks will be there in the browser. So for automation to succeed, the robot must identify these controls very accurately. Okay, instead of clicking username, if it clicks password, instead of clicking password, if it clicks username, it may create some errors and it may cause some mistakes also. So if it clicks the wrong button or types the wrong field, the process will fail, right? So think of online shopping. Okay, you must find the search box. Okay, if you open the Flipkart, if I wanted to buy a phone, I need to find the search box and I need to search I need to search which phone I wanted to buy, and then I need to add it into my card. Okay, then I need to finally check out the button, or finally I need to, let us say, order that particular phone. So a robot must also find all these controls step by step. That is the main task for the robot in the window. Right now we are talking in the window. At until the window, attached window will be helping the robot to find out to work on which window do you work with, and then in that particular window, how to control. So which element you need to click. Everything a robot should find. Now, if you look here, so to help the robot to find the controls, UiPath uses something called selectors. Okay, UiPath will be using something called selectors. In that selectors, a selector is like a unique address of an element on the screen. So it contains properties such as the application name, uh, window title, control type, and other attributes. So we'll be having a selector here in this particular window, and by using that selector, we can teach the robot where is the name for tick box, and where is the window title, and where is the control type, and other attributes too. So just like our house has an address that helps delivery services find it, so a selector helps a UI path locate a control. Okay, a strong selector makes automation reliable, and a weak selector might break if the screen changes slightly. So learning to read and improve selectors is one of the most important skills in UA path automation. Okay, so if you look here, this will be the properties of selectors. Okay, so if you look here, the web control css selector, this is nothing but the tag of html, and then here tag body. So this selector help the robot which window or which option I need to click. So a weak selector can do the wrong things, whereas a strong selector can do miracles. Weak selector in the sense, if the screen is moving, if the screen is not properly working, it we call it as weak selector. Okay, and if you see here, UI Explorer, already we have seen here. If you see here, this is UI Explorer, right? So UI Explorer, we can remove by using UI Explorer, we can remove unnecessary attributes from a selector and keep only stable ones. If I wanted to work on particular attribute called attendance, or if I want to work on a particular attribute called login, so I can remove all other things and I can only keep which I wanted to work on. So if you see here, initially it was this, and then by using UI Explorer, I have changed my format. Okay, I have been keeping only the thing which I wanted to work on. So for example, if selector contains a file that changes every day, it will break. So if it is changing every day, for example, your attendance, it may change every day. So such type of time, such type of conditions may hurt robot, and it may give wrong predictions also. So so we remove the changing part and keep only the constant attributes. The constant attributes in the sense that won't change regularly or time to time. So that attributes only will be keeping, and will be deleting the changing attributes regularly by using UI Explorer. So we can also validate selectors to test if they are correctly identify the control. So this ensures automation runs smoothly even when minor changes happen in the application. So if uh, what we also do is nothing but by using UI Explorer, we will be seeing the selectors, whether the selectors are selecting the correct thing or not. Okay. So if they are not working properly, we'll be removing them such that it may not cause any um, error to the system. Okay. Now, is that clear until this particular slide? Let me know in the comment section. Is that clear? If anything I need to explain, let me know in the comment section. So hi, good evening for everyone. The thing is that clear till this particular point? How, what is activity window, what is selector, and what is UI Explorer? Thank you, Kausalya, for the confirmation. Still, others also please respond and ask others also to join. Raju Warner, good evening. Srivalli, thank you. Next. Still anything I need to explain elaboratively? Let me go. So the thing is, I have been copied these images from the internet to make you understand how the UI path window looks like. Okay, actually, it should contain the lab sessions also, such that this confusion may not be there. There is no lab session. Only this is I need to cover only the theory part, which makes you confusion. What is happening and what is the workflow of this UI path? Everything. So that is why. I say that please go through Unit 1 and Unit 2 such that it will be very clear if you go clearly with Unit 1 and Unit 2. Unit 2 is very easy, which is completely the things you are learned in your BTech. And whereas Unit 1, it is completely new. That's nothing but I have already made the video and I will be sending that PPT before on and before today or tomorrow. Okay, and I will be sending this particular PPT through your groups also. But the thing is, you try to learn deeply. Initially, the first unit is completely new because you are not at all. I think you can not at all came up to this particular robotics or some other mechanical chapters. I may not know whether these things are covered in your curriculum or not. I think no, because you are as part of CSC, this may not cover. Okay, I understand. But the thing is, they have given the task, we need to finish, right? As a robot, we need to finish the task. No issues. The thing is, it will create some disturbance and it will create some confusion on your mind. I know, I to know. But the thing is, Unit 1, I have been explained clearly. And even in the class also, I've been explained a overview of Unit 1 and Unit 2. It is completely the known things which you came across your complete graduation. And Unit 3, and I will, if you go through Unit 2 clearly, what is what, then Unit 3 will be very easy. If you are not familiar with Unit 2, it may make you the confusion. Okay. Thank you, Sasi. Thank you for the confirmation. So, shall we proceed for this explanation? Yeah, explore the explanation. If yes, let me know in the comment section. Okay. So now let's talk about one of the most beginner-friendly tools in UiPath, the recorder. Okay. So imagine you are teaching someone a task, let us say. So instead of writing instructions, you just do the task once while they watch. For example, let us say uh, I need to do some project or I need to help you to write a resume. So initially, I will do, I will explain to you through the PPT. Okay. Then the exactly uh, you follow me, right? In the same way here also, what we'll be doing is nothing but initially what I am doing, how I am opening my laptop, how I'm logging into my system, how I am opening the PPT, everything will be recorded. Initially it will be recorded in UiPath. After that, same thing robot does. What does robot do? It will again open the laptop, again open the PPT, again do the same thing what I did exactly. So it will replicate my actions. That is what the task recorder will provide us. Okay. So when you click the button, type text or open application, the recorder captures each action and turns it into UiPath activities automatically. So this saves a lot of development time and helps beginners understand how automation workflows are structured. So there are different types of recorder. One is the basic recorder. Okay. which will be simple for single actions, and another one is the desktop recorder, which will be useful for accessing multiple desktop application. Another one is the web recorder, which is designed for browsing based automation. Each recorder is optimized for its environment. If you want only for single action, it is basic recorder. If you want across multiple desktop application, then you require desktop recorder. If you want a web browsing automation, then it is web recorder. So but we must remember something important. So the recorder is a rough draft. So after recording, we should clean up the workflow, right? Improve selectors and proper waiting conditions. So professionals don't just record and run, they refine the automation. So rawly, if I am teaching the class, if I am recording a class, if I teach as it is and without any noise ejection, if I upload, it will have it will be having a plenty of noise in that particular video. So I need to refine it. So in short, the recorder is like training wheels on bicycle. So it tells you start quickly, but you still need to learn balance and control. Okay. So that is what about the recorder. And I already mentioned about this UiPath Explorer. So sorry, I haven't changed this slide. So, so this is what the recorder is. Okay. So it will record. If you want web, it will record web. If you want Chrome, it will record Chrome. If you want desktop, it will record desktop. So which means, so recorder will be having three types, as I mentioned: basic recorder, desktop recorder, and the web recorder. Okay. So now after recording, let us discuss a very common problem in automation. So this is where the problem arises: timing issues. Okay. So applications don't load instantly sometimes. Okay. For example, at a time, if I wanted to load two applications, it may not load due to some internet issues, right? So sometimes a page take 2 seconds, sometimes it may take 10 seconds. Initially, when a human is working, when the task recorder is recording the sessions, my page may open in 2 seconds. But when a robot is working on the same task, it may take 10 seconds, depending on the internet or system speed, right? So if the robot tries to click something before it appears, it will throw an error. For example, when I am opening my page, it only took 2 seconds, but when a robot is opening, it took 10 minutes, 10 seconds, let us say. And initially it won't wait. What it say to UiPath? It is not opening, it is not working. It will throw a error. That is what the main drawback, that is what the main the limitation of this particular UiPath robot. Okay. To solve this, UiPath provides waiting activities. Okay. So element exist. Okay. Checks if something is present on the screen. On element appear, waits until the element becomes visible. Delay simply pauses for fixed time. So we'll be having three things. One is element appear. So element appear is nothing but waits until element becomes visible. Okay. If sometimes it may open for 10 seconds, right? If it is opening in 10 seconds, which is open to in 2 seconds when I am working, so robot will just say it is not opening. So that's why what we do is nothing but UiPath has provided to overcome this problem. UiPath has provided element exists. Okay. So element exists, which is nothing but it checks if something is present on the screen or not. Robot whether robot is correctly giving or not, by using check element exists, will be checking. And on element appear, wait, for example, if it is not visible, robot has to, let us think about a scenario that robot tells true. Then what will UiPath do is nothing but it will be operating with on element appear, which means it will wait for some time. whether after 10 seconds it is working or not, after 1 minute is working or not. It will wait until whether something will be until something visible on the screen. Okay. And also, if it is also not thing, if it is also not happening, so then comes delay. So it simply pauses the fixed time. Okay. However, these professional developers avoid using delay because too much it is not smart. Because if I wanted to do a task in 1 minute, if by using delay timer or delay, it can be it can go to 1 hour. So it may not be useful, it may not be good for industrialists. Okay. So it may waste their time. So if it loads in 12 seconds, automation fails. For example, if we set one more drawback also there in delay in the sense, a robot, for example, when I am doing my work, I said in 2 seconds I have done my work. But when robot is open the same task by seeing the task recorder, it may take 10 seconds, let us say. Okay, 10 seconds I have kept as delay. For example, robot may not robot will wait until 10 seconds, such that because I have set that delay time to 10 seconds. So if that is also not the case, if delay time also increase, for example, my internet is very bad and it has opened in 12 seconds, let us think. So the robot, if it loads in 12 seconds, automation fails. Okay. Smart waiting so this also may give us the error. Okay. So smart waiting activities adjust automatically. So waiting properly makes automation stable, reliable, and add professional. So there, let me teach you one example here. You don't cross the road until the traffic light turns green. Okay. You wait for the right signal. Okay. Bots must do the same. If you see, if you are a human, if you are doing the same thing on the road, until unless you see the green light, you are crossing the road. Same way, the task recorder observes how you are moving, why, on which, whether when you are stopping, when you are moving, all this will be recorded and all these instructions will be given to robot, and robot will replicate what you are done. Okay. That is what about these uh, controls. Now we move to event based automation. Okay. Until now we saw bots that run step by step, but sometimes we want automation to start when something happens. Okay. Until unless we won't wait for every task. For example, when a user clicks a button and presses a key, or when a file appears in a folder, the bot should react. This is called event driven automation. Okay. Until unless the work is done, we won't set another work. In parallel, we are doing all those things. Okay. So UiPath allows to us to configure triggers that listen in the background. When event when the event happens, automation starts automatically. One event is happened. For example, one event is nothing but I need to log in. After that event, another automation should start automatically. It should not wait, or it should not wait until the instructor or another person to come and tell. Okay. That is nothing but that may be time consuming. But automatically when it starts, it will be very easy. So these are useful for assistant robots and monitoring bots. Okay. So think of events like doorbells, let us say. The bell rings only when someone presses it. Similarly, automation starts only when the trigger condition happens. Okay. If the condition is nothing but if the download is happened 100%, then go for installation. Same way, if it will download another application and then go for installation. Same way it works. Okay. Like your phone screen turning on when you tap it. Okay. When you double tap it, it will turn out. Okay. Turn off, right? Oh, sorry. Now, moving on to mouse activities. Already name itself has the answer. So, Bharat, good evening, Bharat. So mouse activities. So mouse activities allow the robot to perform actions just like a human using a mouse. So mouse actions can be like include click, double click, right click, and left click. So all these are nothing but the actions of mouse, right? That a human do. So a single click presses a button. A double click opens the folders, right? Okay. A right click what happens if you click the right click? It may reveal the options, right? However, when we move the mouse over an item, it will reveal the hidden options. Although mouse actions are useful, they can be less stable if the screen layout changes. Okay, that's why combining mouse actions with good selectors is important. Okay, if there is if there is no good selector, so this mouse action may lead to miscommunication and mislead the robot also. Okay, we need to have the good selector. And if you see this uh, example, so this shows how automation activities are arranged. If you look here, a workflow is like a flow chart where steps are connected logically. So each block performs one action. If you look here, each block performs one actions. So this structure helps understanding, debugging, and improving the automation. So good workflow design is like writing a well organized essay, like let us say introduction, body, and conclusion. So I can give one more example, like well structured. It to make a tea, we need to boil the water, and when then we need to add the tea powder and then sugar, and then we need to serve it. So same way, workflow layout will be working. Okay, one after another, one after another, one after another. Okay. Now, these keyboard activities already you know. So, keyboard activities simulate typing and also shortcut keys. These include type into and send hotkey. So, there will be two things: type into, okay, type into, send hotkey, okay. So, keyboard actions are often faster and more reliable than mouse actions because they don't depend on screen position. If the screen is moving, also they don't depend on the screen position. For example, pressing enter to submit a form is quicker than moving the mouse and click the submit. Okay. The same thing we are submitting using keyboard. If you do the same thing with mouse using robot, it may take some time. But when you do using keyboard, it may not take much time and it may not give any errors. Okay. So professionals prefer keyboard shortcuts whenever possible to improve the speed and we need reduce the errors. Okay, using Control C and Control V instead of clicking on the mouse, right click and copy paste. Okay, so which will be very easy by using this keyboard. So many of the industrialists also use these keyboard activities for robot to minimize the errors. Okay, now handling events. Okay, this slide explains how bots react to users. Um, Instead of just performing tasks, bots can monitor actions and respond also. Okay. Instead of just doing the task, bots are nothing but the robots can monitor actions and respond. For example, when a certain key is pressed, the bot can open an application, right? When a mouse click happens on specific element, the bot can collect the information. So this makes bots interactive and intelligent. Okay, instead of only doing specific task, but bot is doing whatever the man do. So this is nothing but it makes the bot interactive. Okay, so like Google Assistant responding when you say hey Google. Okay, same way bot works in this particular UI path. Now recorder. So UiPath provides different recorders because already I mentioned, because different environments need different capture methods. Okay. So basic recorder is simple. Okay. which means only a single task it can record. But whereas a desktop recorder, it will work across apps. Whatever there is, whatever which is present on your desktop will be visible, will be recorded. Okay. Whereas web recorder is completely web based, it is optimized for browsers. Okay. Choosing a right recorder improves selector quality and stability. That is what you need to know. Okay. Now, if you see here, now we are entering a very powerful concept in automation called OCR. So OCR is nothing but optical character recognition. For that is nothing but, which means what is there on my screen, okay, that it will be copied. That is nothing but we call it as optical character recognition. So normally UiPath reads text directly from applications using selectors, but sometimes text is not available as selectable data. Sometimes it may not be available, so it might be inside an image. For example, on my screen, if the text is visible, I can go for traditional method. But let us say there is an image. In that image, we will be having the text. It may not be possible by using UiPath alone. Okay. So OCR acts like eyes of the robot. Okay. It looks at the image and tries to recognize the letters and numbers inside it. For example, if I see the text inside this, so this OCR acts as a robot eye and see, okay, A is present here, T is present here. Okay. Just like humans read words from the photograph. So OCR reads text from the images. If the text is on the screen, it is possible for UiPath, but if the text is on the image, we need to use optical character recognition. Okay. So this is extremely important in real life business scenarios. So many companies still use scanned in invoices, handwritten forms, or legacy systems where text cannot be copied. So in such cases, OCR allows automation even in those particular situations. However, OCR is not always perfect. I cannot say it will be perfect. Okay. Its accuracy depends on image quality. If the image quality is not good, the accuracy will be decreased. And it will the another thing, the accuracy depends on font style also, and lighting of the photo also. So all this will be considerable for OCR. That's why we often need to fine tune it. So uh, we need to fine tune the image that we are getting to extract exact test. So reading amount from the scanned invoice, extracting name from ID card image, reading text from remote desktop screen. So these are the things some we can do using OCR. Okay. Eh, Now, if you see here on one popular OCR engine, I have given here one example I have been mentioning is UiPath. uh, uh, is for UiPath is Google OCR. So this is cloud-based OCR. This is completely working on cloud. Uh, because it runs on powerful servers with advanced AI models, it usually gives very high accuracy, even with difficult fonts and unclear images. So Google OCR is especially useful when documents are complex or the image quality is not very good. Okay. It can also recognize multiple, okay, not only single. It can also recognize multiple languages. However, since it is cloud based, it requires an internet connection. That is what the drawback is. It requires internet connection to do all those things. Also, in some secure company environment, sending data to the cloud may not be allowed due to their privacy rules. Some companies may not allow their data to enter to cloud, because in cloud all those activities, all those data will be saved. That is what the drawback by using Google OCR. So we use Google OCR when accuracy is very important and internet access is available. But whereas normal OCR we can be accessed through UAE path, which may not require internet. Okay, but when you want 100% accuracy and when you are having sufficient internet, we can go through UAE path. But the thing is, it is a privacy concern because everything will be saved in cloud. Okay, now Tesseract, this is the main thing of the OCR. So another OCR engine is nothing but Tesseract OCR. This is an open source engine and completely works on offline. So whereas Google OCR will be working online, but whereas Tesseract OCR, which is completely offline and it is open source engine. So that means it does not need internet access, making it suitable for secure environments also. Okay. So however, Tesseract may not be as accurate as Google OCR because Google OCR gives the image everything in very accurately. Okay, especially with complex fonts and noisy images. For example, if the font is not good, not at all understandable, and if the image contains noisy, so it may not work properly. Whereas Google OCR will be completely working and dealing perfectly. So but it is free. Okay, that is the main advantage of Tesseract. Okay, and widely used in many automation projects. Okay, so the choice between Google OCR and Tesseract OCR depends on the situation, whether we prioritize accuracy or offline usage. For if you want accuracy, go for Google OCR. If you want uh, what we say uh, offline and without any cloud interactions, you need to go to Tesseract. Okay, so I can give some examples here. So reading printed text from simple scan document, which will be done by using Tesseract OCR, and also automating task inside a secure government system with no internet. So which also in such situations we'll be using Tesseract OCR. Now we'll be seeing screen scrapping methods. Okay, so screen scrapping means extracting text directly from an application screen. Okay. For example, if I use screen scrapping method to extract text on this particular screen. Okay. UiPath provides three main methods. One is full text, another one is native, another one is OCR. So full text scrapping is fast and works in many applications, but sometimes it may mishide the text also. Okay, that is what the disadvantage. And whereas native scrapping is more accurate but works only with certain technologies. It won't be used in all technologies, but it will be only working with certain technologies. But OCR scrapping is used when nothing else works. Okay, such as in virtual environment or image-based systems. In such conditions, OCR scrapping will be used. So, choosing the right scrapping method is important for both speed and accuracy. Okay. For example, I can give how we on which type of example this screen scrapper will be working. So, copying transaction details from a blank banking application, extracting product information from an old legacy system. Okay, so on this such type of situation, screen scraping will be used. Okay, I'm again mentioning three types. It will be there. One is full text, another one is native, and last one is nothing but OCR. We'll be having three types of screen scraping methods. Okay. Now SAP login interface. Okay. So SAP is the most one of the most widely used enterprise software system in the world right now. Okay. So companies use SAP for finance. Okay. So let me know whether until this point it is clear. I haven't stopped here. Is that clear? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Ganesh, good evening. Sonalia, Sona, good evening. Thank you, Srivali, for the confirmation. Thank you, Sasi, for the confirmation. So let me go through this particular slide. I think only uh, few are left, few slides are left for this in this particular unit three. So so this is the dashboard of a SAP. SAP is nothing but system, applications, and product in data processing. Okay, systems, applications, and products. That is what the SAP full form is. So SAP is one of the most widely used enterprise software systems in the world right now. Okay, companies use SAP for finance. Okay, it will be used for finance. One is the one important thing, and it will be used for HR. Wandy Wotan, thank you. So HR management also will be using SAP, and even inventory and many other operations. So SAP has many operations. Okay. So this slide shows the SAP login interface. This is how the SAP login interface looks like. Okay. So UiPath provides special SAP plugins and that help robot interact with SAP screens more accurately. Okay. Without these plugins, automations uh, automation in SAP can be difficult because SAP has unique interface. So, for example, bot logging into SAP every morning to download reports, automatically entering employee data into SAP. So, it can be done using UiPath, okay, without any errors. Now, the main thing is SAP modules, okay. So, SAP modules SAP is divided into modules like finance, okay, sales, HR, and uh, HR and materials management. Okay, where I can see I'm not able to see in this particular image. Okay, so SAP has divided into modules. I'm again mentioning finance, okay, sales, HR, and materials management. Right. So each module handles different business processes. If I want regarding money or some other thing, I will go for finance. If I want regarding about the sales, I will go for sales. If I want regarding about the interviews or any other things, I will go for HR. If I want to do any product thing, product based management, I will go for materials management. Okay, SAP will be having this type of modules. So UiPath robots can navigate through these modules and enter data and extract reports also. So UiPath we can go through these modules and do all such type of things. So automating SAP saves companies thousands of manual work hours. Okay. So if you do automation for SAP, it may save thousands of manual work hours. Okay. Now we'll be seeing Citrix architecture. So Citrix is nothing but a virtual environment where applications run on remote servers instead of your local computer. Okay, it will be running on the server itself. So because of this, UiPath cannot directly identify buttons or text fields using selectors. So if it is your computer, we'll be using selectors and we'll be clicking the buttons. But if you're doing in Citrix, so UiPath may be confused because that buttons and that selectors may not work in this particular online. Okay. So in Citrix automation, we rely heavily on OCR and image recognition. We'll be not depending on UiPath robots. We'll be relying on OCR and image recognition. So this makes Citrix automation slightly more challenging, but still possible. Okay. Now So if you look here, this particular slide shows a virtual workshop workspace login. Okay, robots may need to log into these remote systems just like users do. Here, if you see here, okay. After logging in, automation continues using image and OCR methods. We'll be not dealing with robots because click buttons, everything we may not work inside it. We'll be only using image and OCR methods. OCR methods we all been discussed. Okay, the two types of OCR methods. Okay, now infrastructure and security. Okay, so this diagram shows the security layers like if you look here, so these are nothing but the security layers, firewalls, okay, and gateways. So these are all completely making on our privacy. So automation must follow these security rules to protect company data. So if someone may hack our company data or our data will be safe by using this firewall and security gateways. Okay, bots should not bypass security but work within approved systems. So bots are not allowed to pass through this particular security or firewall layer. Bots should do whatever it wanted to do until this particular point, but it cannot cross this security walls because we cannot relay or we cannot trust on these software environments. Okay, now OCR tuning improves how the tuning will be done. If you see here, so OCR tuning improves recognition accuracy. So we can adjust image scaling, choose the correct language. If you see here, image scaling will be we can be done, and we need to choose the language. Okay, and restrict allowed. Okay, we can keep it private such that no one can be allowed. Okay, so for example, if reading an invoice amount, we allow only numbers and decimal points. Okay, so if it is about reading Telugu text, we allow only Telugu text. Okay, this is how here we need to change the characters that we wanted to do with work with. Okay, now here comes the credential management. Okay, so credentials is nothing but name itself as the credentials. So credentials are nothing but like usernames and passwords which must be stored securely, because usernames and passwords, if it not stored securely, it may cause problems. So APath uses Orchester or Windows Credential Manager to store them securely. Okay. The get credential activity retrieves them during runtime without exposing passwords in workflows. Okay. So we will be having the get credential activity. Okay. Which means when the robot wants to log in, it won't show any login details on the screen. It will directly fill. If you are saving in the Chrome, it will auto fill the password without displaying the password, right? Same way the get credential will be working. Okay, so finally, so we have done unit 3. So this is completely about unit 3. So this unit taught how robot interact with screens, read text from images, automate enterprise tools like SAP and Critics, and securely handle credentials. So these skills are essential for real world the RPA development. Okay, this is about unit 3. Okay, if you are having any doubt, let me know in the comment section. I am ready to answer your doubts. Please, guys, please respond. The response is mandatory. If yes, let us close this particular chapter, and we'll be up to the mark for the mid session. Thank you. Thank you, Sasi, for the confirmation. No doubts. So it is nothing but it is completely a theoretical subject, which may not understand as it is not having lab, right? If it is having lab, it will be very interesting subject if the lab session is there. But right now, the situation is not good. We are not having any lab session. So it may not be understandable for you people, I know, right? But the thing is, learn up to theory part. That is much important, and that is the thing we need to focus on. Okay, try to understand visually the diagrams we cannot draw in the exam, right? So just draw the particular things. Raghu, good evening, Raghu. So shall we stop the live session?